Debt can be your best friend or your worst enemy. It all depends on how you use it. Think of it like a sharp tool. In the right hands, it can build something amazing, but in the wrong hands, it can cause serious damage. When used smartly, debt can help you create wealth and unlock incredible opportunities. But if you're not careful, it can destroy your finances in the blink of an eye. So how do wealthy people make debt work for them? In this video, we'll break down 6 simple strategies rich people use to grow their money and secure their future. Stick around, you won't want to miss these tips. And if you find this helpful, don't forget to drop a comment and hit that subscribe button for more. Number 1. Building empires with debt. Many of the world's richest people did not start out with huge fortunes. Instead, they built empires by using borrowed money to grow their businesses. One classic example is John D. Rockefeller. Born as the son of a poor farmer and not excelling in school, Rockefeller learned the basics of business while working as a bookkeeper. When he got his first job, he saw an opportunity in trading agricultural goods. With only a small loan from his father, a modest sum at the time, he started a commodity trading business. That small debt gave him a foothold in the world of business. As his business grew, so did his need for more capital. Instead of waiting to gather a huge amount of money, Rockefeller continued to borrow money. He used the funds to acquire smaller companies and to improve his operations. One of his major ideas was to use innovative techniques to reduce costs. For example, in the early days of the oil industry, kerosene was in great demand, but the usual methods to produce and store it were expensive and inefficient. Rockefeller figured out how to produce oil barrels more cheaply by using gasoline as a substitute and by handling production in-house. Because he always repaid his loans on time, and other lenders soon came to trust him. They offered him better terms, and he was able to borrow more money when he saw a new opportunity. This strategy allowed him to grow his business rapidly. By the 1870s, the once poor son had become a millionaire at just 31 years old. His company, Standard Oil, grew so large that it refined most of the oil in the United States. Rockefeller's story shows that by borrowing small amounts and repaying them responsibly, a person can take advantage of new opportunities and build an empire over time. Number 2. Living off borrowed money instead of a salary. Many wealthy people do not rely on a regular paycheck to live. Instead, they own valuable assets such as stocks and properties. One well-known example is Elon Musk. Unlike most people who earn a salary, Musk does not take a traditional paycheck from his companies. He owns a large amount of stock, which is worth billions, and he uses that stock as security to borrow money. Here is how it works. Instead of selling his stock to get cash, which could lead to high taxes on any gains, Musk takes a loan using his stock as collateral. The money he borrows is tax-free because it is not considered income. This means he can use the cash to pay for his daily needs or invest in new ventures without triggering a tax bill. When the time comes to repay the loan, he often borrows again against the same assets rather than liquidating his stock. This cycle allows him to live a very comfortable life and continue investing in his businesses without losing ownership of his valuable assets. This method is attractive to many wealthy individuals. It lets them keep their money working for them in investments that earn higher returns rather than taking a fixed salary. In simple terms, by borrowing against what they already own, rich people can enjoy a high standard of living while keeping their investments intact. Number 3. Investing in real estate with borrowed money. Real estate is a favorite investment for many rich people, and they often use debt to make these investments even if they have enough cash on hand. Instead of paying for properties entirely with their own money, wealthy investors borrow a large part of the purchase price from banks. They might own many houses, apartments, or commercial buildings that they rent out. Even though they could afford to pay in full, they choose to borrow because there are advantages to doing so. Imagine you want to buy a property worth $1 million. Instead of paying the full amount, you borrow 80% of the cost from the bank and only put up 20% as your own money. Let's say the monthly payments on your loan are manageable and the property maintenance costs are low. If you then rent out the property, the rental income may cover your loan payments and even provide extra cash each month. In many cases, tax laws allow you to reduce the amount of tax you owe by letting you count depreciation on the building as an expense, even though depreciation is not money you actually spend. Because of these tax breaks, your rental income might even appear as a loss on paper, which can lower your tax bill. In this way, using debt to buy real estate means you can put other money to work in additional investments. Essentially, rich people use borrowed money to invest in property, keep their cash free, and enjoy tax benefits at the same time. Number 4. Keeping personal money separate from risky deals. Rich people like to keep their personal money separate from the risky business deals they pursue. When they see a chance to buy a company or make a major investment, they often choose to borrow money instead of using their own cash. A good example of this is when Elon Musk moved to acquire a large social media company. Although he had billions in personal wealth, he chose to borrow a large sum of money rather than spend his own funds entirely. This type of deal is known as a leveraged buyout. In a leveraged buyout, the money borrowed is secured by the assets of the company that is being bought. If the deal turns out to be less profitable than expected, the lenders can only take the assets of the company, not the personal wealth of the investor. This means that even if the investment does not pay off, the rich person's personal fortune remains safe. By borrowing money for big purchases, wealthy people protect themselves from risk. Their personal assets, such as cash, property, or stocks, remain untouched. This separation allows them to try new ventures without worrying that one bad deal will affect their entire net worth. Number 5. Creating cash flow with borrowed funds. To create liquidity, the rich borrow against their assets, like real estate or stocks, to keep cash available for new opportunities. Instead of selling assets, they use loans to access funds while keeping their investments intact. For example, one business leader took a large loan to fund a mobile network expansion, allowing him to take advantage of high-return deals without liquidating assets. For 4 seconds, rich people borrow against their long-term illiquid assets to keep cash ready for new opportunities. This strategy lets them access funds quickly without selling valuable investments. For example, a business leader secured a large loan for a new mobile network rollout while keeping his assets intact. Essentially, borrowing creates flexibility to invest in high-return ventures without disturbing existing holdings. Number 6. Taking advantage of low-interest loans. Rich people use their strong credit and high net worth to secure very low interest rates, which saves them money over time. Mark Zuckerberg, for example, took a mortgage with a low rate because banks trusted he'd repay. This kept his payments low and spread over years, making the real cost of payments decrease with inflation. In short, low-interest debt helps rich people preserve cash for higher return investments and build wealth. For 8 seconds, rich people secured low-interest loans using their strong credit and high net worth, which means they pay less interest over time. For example, Mark Zuckerberg took a mortgage at a very low rate because banks trusted his ability to repay, keeping his monthly payments low and spread over many years. As inflation increases, the real cost of these fixed payments drops, giving him more flexibility. In short, low-interest debt helps preserve cash for higher return investments and builds wealth over time. Debt, when used wisely, can build wealth and secure your financial future. The rich borrow to grow businesses, invest in real estate, and take advantage of low interest rates and tax benefits. Smart borrowing can increase wealth over time. Remember, use debt to invest in your future, not to cover losses or overspend. If you enjoyed this video, please comment and subscribe. Your feedback helps shape future content. For 6 seconds, debt, when used wisely, can build wealth and secure your future. Rich people borrow to grow their businesses, invest in real estate, and protect their funds by freeing up cash, enjoying low interest rates, and lowering taxes. Smart borrowing can boost your wealth over time. Remember, debt is a tool. It can build empires and open new doors when used properly. Use it to invest in your future, not to cover losses or overspend. If you enjoyed this video, please comment and subscribe.